Got it, cried Elisha. She waved her wand above her head in triumph. A purple light spilled from the tip and flooded the tower. The ice is melting, Rachel exclaimed. Trusty cheered and hugged her best friend as they watched. The wand faded away and the walls of the tower melted. From the top down, water tumbled to the ground, where it froze again in middle of the mighty splash. Elisha zoomed towards Rachel and Trusty wrapped her in her arms around them. Thank you for coming to get me, she said warmly. I would still be a prisoner without you. A purple bubble surrounded them, and they felt warmth slipping around their shoulders like a cozy blanket. I have cast a spell to keep us warm while we are here, said Elisha. That is good, said Kirsty, because I think we have to go inside the castle. The three fairies looked at each other. It was a bit scary to think of going into the castle to get the Belita lamb. If they were caught, Jack Frost might lock them all in a tower. We have to save eat feast around the human world, said Elisha. The fairies linked arms and flew closer to the castle. Elisha, what does a Belita lamb do? Rachel asked. It helps me make sure that Eid is a happy special time for Muslims, said Elisha. You see, tonight is the end of Ramadan. I have heard about Ramadan, said Rusty. It is a month when Muslims do not eat or drink between dawn and sunset, right? That is right, said Elisha. It ends when the new moon appears, and that is tonight. Then we celebrate with a feast. They reached the battlements and peeped over the top. There were lots of binoculars scattered around, but no goblin. What happens at the Eid feast? Asked Rachel. It is so much fun, said Elisha, her face lighting up. If you fill plates and pots to the brim with sweet, yummy food, and we give to charity and offer gifts to the people we love. The fairies fluttered over the top and landed on the battlements. It sounds like a really happy celebration, said Rusty. It is a time of love, forgiveness, and thankfulness, Elisha went on, looking around. And hugging, lots and lots of hugging. It is hopeful and fun and the exact opposite of everything Jack Frost stands for. But where is he? And where are all the goblins? The fairies looked around. There were no one on the battlements or in the courtyard below. There were no cackles, draughts, or sounds of running feet. Where have they gone? Asked Elisha. Trusty rolled around and flew to look down at the gardens behind the castle. The blue and silver festival tent they had seen during their adventure with Tina had disappeared. In its place was a huge feasting table draped with a blue and silver tablecloth and decorated with lightning bolts. Let's get closer, said Rachel. They swooped down and saw plates filled with Turkish delights, baklava and dates. There were biscuits that smelled so good their mouths watered. Those are clichés, said Elisha. They are rose flavored with nuts and dates inside. Oh yum! Look, there is honey cake too. Then she gasped and fluttered backwards. Rachel and Kirsty put her down to hide behind a frozen bush. Two goblins were pacing up and down beside the table. They were wearing tall shark's hat and grubby apron. We have to stop the lamb making Eid food. said the first goblin, his hands on his hip. But how? Wailed the second goblin. I do not know how the lamp magic works. Every time I ask it to make a frosty feast, it makes this stuff. How are we supposed to teach the silly thing to make marshmallows? He lifted his shaved head, and the fairies had to stop themselves from shouting out in excitement. Under his head was a beautiful purple lamp. Its soft light spilled out across the feasting table. That is it. That's it, whispered Elisha, my poor little lamb. The first goblin started chewing his nails in worry. You're probably just teaching it wrong, he said with a sneer. Jack Frost is going to be furious, and I will tell him it is all your fault. I tried to teach it to make ice thunder borders, said the second goblin, putting his head back over the lamp. He just keep making those silly pita breads. Yuck! If Jack Frost cannot have ice thunder borders on Frost Day, we are in big trouble, said the first goblin. And here he comes, whispered Thirsty. At the far end of the garden, Jack Frost was striding along in a crowd of goblins. They were lit up by blue lanterns, and they were heading straight towards the feasting table. He's coming to check up on us, wrote the second goblin. We have to get the lamp back before Jack Frost arrives, said Rachel in an urgent voice. What are we gonna do?